hit go on the Facebook feed, and you've hit go on the YouTube feed.
Wow.
And that means
putting on some lip balm.
It's time for our live acoustic concert. Woohoo!
But first,
welcome everybody. Yeah, there's one thing we have to do, and
it's a little weird.
It's just taking care of a little business and helping out me in the future.
All right, go ahead.
Every month when I choose the still photograph for our upcoming live concert, it's so hard to just hit stop right at the right moment when we're both doing something not dumb with our faces. And so we're gonna do a 3-second what do you call it? Just a freeze frame. That next month when I go to get the still frame for the poster for promoting this thing, I won't be pulling my hair out. So are you ready, Jamie?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Ready? Go. Okay, that's good.
All right, cool. That's gonna help so much. Thanks, everybody. Hey, what about starting with a song?
Welcome, everybody. Yes, this is our monthly live acoustic concert. Let's just start with the song. Actually, you have something to read before this song. We've got
what?
Every month we ask our Misfit stars to vote for the songs we're going to play, and we also ask them to, if they have any personal stories or a memory regarding any of the songs, we ask them to share that. And some of these stories were shared with us like months ago when someone voted for a song but it didn't make it into the set until this week, or this month, I mean. So this one, someone wrote this to us,
months ago,
but it was his little story about why he loves the song Lay Me Down, which is what we're going to start the show with tonight.
This is from Kyle. Hi, Kyle.
Hi.
Kyle says, lay me down. I have several characteristics that make up my mosaic. What a nice way to say that. But the one I take the most genuine pleasure from is being a vulnerable, hopeless romantic.
Oh my gosh.
Can you relate, Shannon?
Yeah, totally.
Kyle continues, I've listened to Lay Me Down 1,000,000 times, and I still appreciate it as much as ever. It also provides a bit of comfort with all this political nonsense.
And he lives in Canada, so it's even milder there.
Yeah, but they've got some garbage too.
True.
They've got some garbage.
That's true.
He's in Vancouver, which is British Columbia, which is kind of chill, but they're right next to Alberta, which is sketchy. Regardless of all the garbage out there, we can always count on the one we love for a night in from the storm.
Oh, Kyle, such a hopeless romantic.
Love it.
Kyle is such a hopeless romantic that he invited us to come do a concert at his house, in which I performed a song that he had me write for his girlfriend at the time, and to whom he proposed marriage at the house concert where I played it for them live. Such a romantic.
Best memory of all time. So good.
So here's
This
Lay
is
Me
for
Down.
you too.
Although the world is coming to an end, I don't think there's been a lovelier night. Walking slowly with you hand in hand, it's hard imagining we won't be alright. If we never see the morn again, I beating won't be held within my chest, and all the rest of me is resigned. Oh, though this is the last of all my breaths, it's the best one of my life. Lay me down. Lay me down. Lay me down. Lovely. Nice job, Jamie Hill.
Nice job, Shannon. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon K. Curtis.
Jamie Hill on piano, everybody.
Right on.
Hey, welcome to the show. This is the thing we do every month now because our Misfit Stars support it, and here we are doing it. Who the heck are our Misfit Stars?
We'll
Jamie?
talk about it later. Let's do song 2.
Oh, okay.
We learned a lesson last month, which is one song, talk for 10 minutes.
No.
Not as good.
We're not going to talk for 10 minutes. I just want to say thank you to Misfit Stars for supporting this concert.
That's fair.
And welcome, and we're so glad that you are here.
Misfit Stars are our support community. They're also our best friends. You can be one of these too. We'll talk to you more about it in a little while.
Yeah, so they are the ones who vote on the songs that we're going to play. And I have to tell you, before we go any further, there are 2 things to say.
2.
Sorry, just 2.
Thing
just
1.
2 things. Thing 1 is that they voted in a whole lot of drama in these songs in this set list tonight. So we're just like going to go on the drama track. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great for my inner child who never did musical theater but probably should have.
Also your inner 34-year-old.
Also that too. And it's going to be great. We're going to just get all dramatic. Also, fun fact about this set list, 4 of the songs that we're doing tonight, we've never performed live before. Like ever. Not on tour, not at a show, in a venue, never performed live.
Literally never one time.
This is one of those.
Shannon's never played these live on piano before and still won't.
It's true. Jamie's the only one who's actually had to figure out the acoustic piano part for some of these songs. It's great. Anyway, he did a good job, and he's going to play.
Well, we'll see about that. I have 3 hours to learn 10 songs. You get what you get, people. But you know what? It's free.
Okay. So this song is from the album Connections that we put out in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a song called Let Me Be the First. And it's about being the first one to say, I love you. Not necessarily even in a romantic relationship, just in any relationship, it's hard to be the first one. That's one of the most vulnerable things you can do. So here it goes. Let me be the first. Let me say one thing before I lose the nerve to say it. It's harder than it seems. 3 little words, but still I'm shaking. The distance seems so far to reach, but still. And I know that it might hurt, but I think the chance is worth it. So let me be the first to say I love you, 'cause the love is not returned. I still don't think that's worse than never having learned to say I love you. There's no guarantee that what I are.
I've lost the plot completely.
Okay, all right. That's
Oh,
okay.
here we go. Let's start in G minor. Ready?
Ready to go. I'm ready. Yeah. There's no guarantee
Did I mention 3 hours rehearsal?
that what I Nice.
Nice!
You don't even
pull it back out.
You don't even remember that we screwed up the second verse because all the drama just like papered all that.
Also,
over.
screwing over verse 2 is part of the drama. we actually wrote that in. That's a scripted bit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. That
that's
works for me.
That's not true. Hey, people, thank you for all your hearts on Facebook. That is just so wonderful.
It is
Thank
wonderful.
you. It's a big lift. We appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube, we can't see the YouTube comments. We know you're there. We love you, YouTube people.
We'll read them later.
Hi. It's so nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
So we've got a bunch of songs tonight. A lot of them go into the Wayback Machine. Like this next one totally goes into the Wayback Machine.
2012.
This is to our 2013.
It came out in 2013. You wrote it in like 2012.
Okay, so this is a song that it came on the CinemaScope album, and this song is totally about Jamie.
What? Oh my gosh, this is great!
This is just I wanted to write a sweet little love song about what it felt like when I first met him. Like, I wasn't looking to meet somebody when I met him. And it's
Same, by the way.
It just kind of...
I wasn't like some desperate guy out there. But, you know.
But something just clicked, and he kind of took my breath away in a lot of ways. And so I wanted to write a song to honor that. And so this is that song. I love that it's called Dandelion Wishes, and I love that we're playing it right now because like there are dandelions all over our yard, and like
which Shannon loves.
Well, no, I don't love, and like last spring, when like the pandemic was really revving up and everybody was we were all freaking out about what was going on.
Couldn't really be within 1,000 yards of another human.
Yeah,
you remember the drill. Terrifying.
We spent like every afternoon we could out in our yard to dig up all the dandelions because it was like one little thing we could control in our lives.
One by one, by the way. We didn't go out one time with like the spray stuff and just kill them all. We manually, Shannon with like one of those foot diggers, me with one of those little fork tools.
Yeah.
We each did probably 7,000 dandelions. The good news is though that it really paid off because this year there are 8,000.
They are all back and
it really worked out.
Yeah, but you know, I'm gonna embrace the dandelions, not only for the sake of this song, but just in our yard, because they are what they are. What I love about dandelions, you know how little kids and sometimes adults make wishes? That's what the song is sort of like based on, right? That idea. When the dandelion reaches that puffball stage, it's a dead flower. Like, the flower has blossomed and like died and turned into that puffball.
And that's pretty much how Shannon felt about me.
No, it's not at all. No, I was really like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna find somebody. Like I felt like a lot of things in my life had died at that time. You know what I mean? And like
32 and done. You know what I mean? Yeah. On a serious note, our society tells women that like if you're not married and probably with kids by like age 25, your life is maybe over. That's a bunch of BS, and I just want to say that to all you women. You don't have to get married. You don't have to be 25 forever. You can have a 40th birthday and acknowledge it. It's all good. Aging is natural and fine.
Yes.
And good things happen the older you get.
And also, we elevate relationship status way beyond what it ought to be in our culture as well. So, but a lot of things in my life had really ended. Not in just my relationships, but just like anyway. So this was an expression of celebration for that moment where some new dreams were sent out onto the wind and took root.
So basically what Shannon's saying is that I am the remnants of a dead flower that got blown out of the universe and became a weed.
And, hey,
for her.
Weeds are that's only a judgment call in the eye of the beholder.
I'm really actually trying to get a lot better about that personally this year, only because we are clearly never going to win this battle of the dandelions.
No.
So now it's just like, hey, check out our yellow flowers.
Embrace the weeds.
Yeah.
They're flowers.
Yeah.
These are dandelions.
Yeah.
Enjoy the song. One change in the wind, in a swell you are standing beside me. Two hands that have been unheld come together, hold tightly. hopes in bloom scatter on the air as we sway. In the wind like dandelion wishes on a spring day. From the weeds, the seeds go flying. You blow me away. All my hopes in blue scatter on the air as we sway. In the wind like dandelion wishes. That was like scattering dandelions in the wind.
Nice.
That was great.
That was good.
I don't ever call you Four Eyes. The four eyes in that song were.
Did you ever snuck in I snuck in a dad joke in the middle of the song? Just on the DL, no big deal.
You know, you're dad joke age.
I'm a multifaceted kind of guy. I can accompany a singer on piano and also just quick do a dad joke. It's not that big of a deal.
Double threat.
Whoa. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we promised you drama.
Yes.
The set list is so full of drama. Like, we should really do this a whole lot more often than we already are.
I should have a chair with a back in case I faint.
Yeah.
Didn't really think this through.
But that said, we have a story that I have printed out for you to read.
Mm-hmm.
One of our Misfit stars who actually voted for this song, she might have voted for it this month. I'm not sure, but I know she's cast a vote for it a couple months ago and shared this reflection on it, which I have to say, it's from our Misfit star Heather. And Heather, if you're watching, like, when I read your reflection on this, I was like, she knows me. She gets me. Like, if I could, like, you know, commission a piece sort of summarizing what I was trying to communicate in this song, you have done it with this story.
Aww.
So I want Jamie to read it. So the song itself is pretty dramatic, but it comes from a heartfelt place. And the song's called Holy Fire. And Jamie, will you read Heather's words?
So you're saying that a song you wrote was kind of dramatic?
They're all dramatic.
That's weird. Anyone else just having a news flash here? Huh. Well, I'll have to ruminate on that. But
Okay.
I'll do it quietly and privately while I read the story.
Okay, great.
So this is from Heather. Hi, Heather. Thank you so much for sharing this amazing story. Heather writes, for about 40 years of my life, I was walking through life numb. I pushed down pain, swallowed tears, ignored grief, because if you allow yourself to have those feelings, then the reasons for them become real and undeniable. The problem with stuffing the bad is that you lose the opportunity to feel the good as well. I've learned that having the whole range of emotions is what living is all about. And so what if our feelings are big and get out of control sometimes? Because that just means we are fully part of our experience. We must open ourselves up to experience the beauty that life has to offer. And often that beauty is fleeting, causing pain and grief flooded by tears. It is not worth opening ourselves. Is it not worth opening our moments of grief? To know completely the beauty of a flower rather than to remain closed tight and experience only dark?
Aren't those lovely words?
Yeah. Boom! Nails it!
Nothing but net, Heather.
Man, from half court, kind of impressive. Wow, that's really great.
Yeah, and this is one of the songs that we have never performed live before. So this is a double whammy. It was really fun to hear your reflections, Heather. It's just, you know, this is part of why we make music and why all kinds of creators create what they create. It's so that we can show ourselves a little bit to the world and be like, here am I. in hopes that we can make a connection with somebody else who has felt or experienced some of the same things. Like, that's one of the reasons why we do what we do. So, like, seriously, my day has been made. I could go home. I am home. I could just go to...
Well, you're doing great.
I could, like, end the day right now and feel like everything is complete. Thank you, Heather, for that gift.
You know what I think you're saying? To paraphrase a much more famous quote.
What?
When your art touches someone else's experience, it creates a connection.
It's right. And honestly, Heather, what you wwrote is art also. So thank you for touching me with that. So
yeah, thank you.
Here's Holy Fire. I have to get that. Tonight, I'm gonna invite this feeling. This feeling. Tonight, I will not silence this feeling. Invite this feeling. I welcome it into house. Sorry, I have to get the rhythm right on that. I'm sorry.
Want to start verse 1 again?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
I welcome it into the... I'm getting this wrong. I'm so sorry. Did I mention we've never performed this before?
Well, let's just start with Pat the Spot.
Okay.
2, 3. The point is, so we're setting the scene, people. Here's what the first 2 lines of this song say.
Oh, Lord.
I welcome it into the house, right in through the front door. All right?
Lord.
I welcome it into the house, right in through the front door. All right?
Yes.
And now we're picking up where
Okay.
our hero knows the melody.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Pat the spot on the sofa next to me. Here we go. I'll ask it questions about where it's from. I'll look into its eyes curiously. I let my guard down, approach in peace, and when the tears come, I will cry. Then I'll be silenced, sprung from a part of me, and I will roll my fists with raging nights. Some holy fire down this burning part of me, this feeling. Tonight I'm gonna invite this feeling. I won't shove it back outside. I know slam doors and shut lights make no me peace for me inside. A house where bulwarks are built to keep this feeling. I won't rest with constant knocking in the night. And when the tears come, I will cry. Then I'll be silenced, sprung from a part of me, and I will ball my fists when raging nights. Somehow you're fighting down this burning part of me, this feeling. Tonight I'm gonna ignite this feeling, ignite this feeling, this part of me. Tonight I'll summon and unite all the pieces in the light, in the heat. And when the tears come, I will cry. Then I'll be silenced, sprung from a part of me, and I will ball my fists when raging nights. Some holy fire deep down this burning part of me, this feeling. Tonight I'm gonna...
Yeah! Whew, nailed it.
Made it through.
Made it through. And here's the thing. If you do the last 99% of a song real... Like if Shannon had forgotten how the melody went in that last little tag,
That would have been worse.
terrible, the worst.
Yeah.
But The first verse, who cares? Who remembers it?
Yeah.
That's in the past. We've moved forward. I hope you have
Remembers what? What are you...
Mash them hearts if you forgot how we screwed up the beginning of that song.
What are you even talking about? I don't even remember what you...
Good point.
What are you talking about?
On second thought, never mind the hearts. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It really is putting us to the test, though. Like, 4 songs that we've never performed before, so, like, my muscle memory is not there for singing them, and, like, it's
and, like, like, I've never played most of these songs, right, on piano, but something that does happen if we do a song an entire summer on tour is just the song gets embedded in my soul.
It seeps in.
But, like, this one, like, it's still partly embedded in my soul because we made an album, and it was on the album, we worked really hard on it, but we probably only put 30 or 40 hours into it.
Who knows?
You know?
I mean, and it was years ago.
Years ago.
So, anyway.
In the way back, which was what, 2019?
2015.
That sounds like 2015.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
That's on Revolutionary
That's
Acts.
right. This one was,
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not quite as good an excuse, but we're still going with it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have no idea. We're gonna take a turn. It's still dramatic, but it's a down tempo turn.
I love this one.
I have a story for you that I printed out for you for this one.
Oh, wonderful. It's from Thea.
Yeah. So first of all, we had 2 comments on this song, and this song has been trying to get into the top 8 or whatever for a few months. It's been like close. So this is its time to shine. This is from way, way, way back. I mean, like
2006 for you, probably.
I think I probably wrote this, probably in 2006. I don't remember exactly when it was, but for those of you who don't know part of my personal history, I was divorced at the age of 30.
What?
I think he makes that joke every time I say this.
And it's always funny.
So I was divorced at the age of 30. I had been married to the guy that the only boyfriend I'd ever had. We started dating when I was 15. The homecoming dance when I was a sophomore in high school.
Were you like the queen?
No.
Oh, that's good.
No, it was just, that's where we had our first dance, you know. Anyway, it was the first person I'd ever dated, my first kiss, my first, like, I never dated anybody else. And when we were 21, right after I graduated college, we got married. And we were married for 9 years. And we divorced when I was 30. And what that meant is that when I was 30 and newly single, I had literally never had, like, an adult dating experience, ever. Like,
which, honestly, how lucky is that?
Sure. But I realized after a couple of forays into that world how absolutely naive I was. Like, so freaking naive. Okay, still naive in a lot of ways, but in that realm, I had no idea.
You know, naive feels judgmental.
Okay.
Like, innocent.
I mean, I'm judging myself.
No, but like, you're innocent.
Okay.
And Shannon remains innocent. And people, isn't that, like, the best thing about her? How she's so, like, not cynical? She and I are, like, opposites in that way. Which is, I think, a huge part of why things work with us. Because she is so innocent and earnest and willing to take things at face value, and I am deeply, deeply cynical. And we have pulled each of us toward the other.
That's true.
For the better in my case, probably for the worse in hers, and I apologize for that.
No, it's not for the worse. I have a lot more fun these days. That's good. But anyway, this was a song sort of that's a reflection of just how naive I was in that time. I really thought that, like, falling in love was just so very easy, and it turns out...
Have you seen the movies?
Yeah, I've seen the movies. Anyway, so there are two comments here. One of our stars, Whitney, had said that she voted for this song a couple months ago. She heard this song before, and she thought the title sounded interesting, so that's why she voted for it, which I
love that.
think is great. But the title, by the way, is What Makes a Man Fall in Love. But our friend, our Misfit star and friend Thea had a little bit more to write about it, and I want you to read it if you can.
I can. Thea says, and first, hi Thea. So, Shannon, I know you sometimes dismiss your early songwriting because it was filled with love songs and heartbreak.
Oh, so many. So much.
Please don't underestimate, though, what those songs mean to your listeners. I could list several here of your earlier tunes that gave voice and words to my experiences, particularly at the age we were, when you wrote them, and they still strike my heart. What Makes a Man is definitely one of those that profoundly strummed my pain with your fingers
No.
and sang my life with your words.
No, another reference to a great song.
Yeah.
Right? That's Thea. And by the way, Thea is a beautiful singer, and I would love to hear Thea singing this particular song sometime.
Ah.
Wouldn't that be great? She's a jazz singer. It's more than jazz, but she plays with a jazz combo, and I could just see her absolutely killing this song.
And here's the deal. Thea's partner, who's also a musical partner, is a legitimately good piano player.
Oh, yeah.
If I can learn this piano part in 15 minutes, Matt probably already knows it.
He's never heard the song, but he knows it.
Yeah, he'll be like, yeah, I could accompany this.
Amazing.
Really, like, that would be amazing. You should learn that. I would love that.
Wouldn't that be great?
I think it would be great.
Here is What Makes a Man Fall in What makes a man fall in love? And is what I have enough? There are answers. It pains me to see, like why you couldn't fall in love with me. I remember when you first caught my eye. I thought the world might end right then, and I'd be fine. There wasn't much we said while we kept a silent stare. Was I imagining what was not there? What makes a man fall in love? And is what I have enough? There are answers. It pains me to seek, like why you couldn't fall in love with me.
Aww.
So dramatic.
Man. Good job.
Thank you.
Love that one.
Thank you, Misfit Stars, for voting it in. Hey, so there's a little break in the flow of our set songs for here, because I want to shift to talk about this other project that we've been working on.
Oh my God, yes.
So you might be aware that we were smack dab in the middle of this project called 2020 101, which is an album project that we conceived of late last year. I had, a year ago, promised our Misfit Stars that with their support, part of what we were going to do this year was to make an album about the pandemic, right? A year ago, that was the thing that loomed large in our world and our experience, and I was going to write about that.
But then things happened.
As the months charted forward, there was so much else about 2020 that was significant that we sort of shifted the focus to, rather than writing an album specifically just about the pandemic, we were going to write an album about all of what happened in 2020, which was an extraordinary year in so many ways. And we wanted to make all of these songs from this album based on the experiences and stories of people in our communities. So a lot of you watching submitted stories late last year when I was requesting your stories and your experiences about what was significant to you about 2020.
We say community a lot. If you're wondering who's our community, it's you.
That's true.
If you're hearing the sound of my voice right now, you're our community. Mwah.
And thank you, yes. And so I took all those stories. We had well over 100, like, I don't even know the total number, but there were like over 100 people who submitted their experiences in sometimes long form, sometimes short form, about what was significant in 2020. And I mined through all of those stories to find where there were common threads, like where were the most common themes that surfaced in people's experiences. And I identified 11 of them, and we set out to make an album called 2020 101, in which I write and we record and release one new song based on each of those 11 themes every 10 days for 101 days. And we released song 7 on Saturday last weekend. It was a song called One Thread, about the topic of barely hanging on in 2020. Songs 1 through 6 cover other topics related to 2020. But Jamie has been doing this amazing thing in the midst of this project. Now that we're putting the songs out, as each new song comes out, he's reaching back out into our communities of people and asking for more stories related to those themes, and he's been archiving them in our story archive online at 2020101.net. And it is such a wonderful, wonderful space online. Like, I spend some time there every several days catching up on the stories that I haven't read yet, and I just find that when I do that, I feel so much more connected. I feel like I'm not the only one who has experienced some of these things. I feel like my heart grows in compassion for other people whose experiences have been different than mine. And I just feel a little bit more healed in some tiny little ways from the traumatic year that we have all experienced. I mean, in a lot of ways, the trauma, the stress is ongoing. So it's really helpful. But I wanted to turn it over to you because you wanted to share some of the stuff that you've been, share some of your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So each song has a theme. Shannon mentioned that. The way we're organizing this site, and if you go, it's just 2020101.net, 2020101.net. And the way it's organized is super simple. There's just a landing page that you land on when you get there. And there are just pieces of art for each of the songs we've put out so far. And every time we put out a new song, we add its artwork there. If you click on it, you just go to that song's page. So every song has its own page. One song per page, one page per song. And when you go there, there's a place where you can listen to the song right up top. There's Shannon's essay that she writes an essay about every song, you know, what's behind it for her. And then there's lyrics, and then there's a collection of stories and remembrances, and the stories, and the collection of them has been sort of my bailiwick for this. It's been a really, really interesting experience. Something I found is that, like, I mean, Shannon and I, as part of our work, I think you know this about us, hold other people's stories. That's something that we do. You know, we are in a certain way custodians for your stories, for your experience, because people have learned they can come to us with that, because we're storytellers, and we care more maybe than the average bear about people's experience in that way.
And when you tell stories, sometimes that is an invitation to receive stories too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely, it's absolutely true. And you know, something I didn't anticipate is how healing it would feel to me to read everyone's stuff. People have sent me at this point well over 100 stories, and there's more coming in all of the time. If you want to submit a story, just go to 2020101.net. Look through the topics. There's a writing prompt right before the story section for each one, and there's an email address there. You can just send it to me. And we would love to have your voice represented, and that would be amazing for us. But really, just like the process of taking each of these stories on board, I've learned that I really have to be intentional about it. Like, I can't do it while I'm thinking about something else. I can't do it in a distracted or quick way. I can't do it like you might do emails in the morning. Like, I really have to have like a sort of sacred time where I sit and really energetically kind of get myself into a place where I am just super open and really ready to receive that kind of energy, because people are sharing some incredibly deep things with us.
It makes a lot of sense. You'd have to get in the right frame of mind for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, totally. I didn't, at first, I didn't know. I just was like, we'll do stories, it's great. And the first few, like, really kind of blew me away. I was like, whoa. Like, I really kind of felt almost overwhelmed because I hadn't prepared myself for it. Now I know, and it's much better. But, you know, there's two things that happen. One, sometimes people share really vulnerable, very heavy things. And I really have learned that I just almost need to sit with them like a meditation. Just to read it, and then just pause, you know, and really just think for a minute. Or not think so much, but just feel, you know? Really just kind of let that story work through me, you know?
Some people might call that holding space for the story.
See, Dale? Yeah, holding space. It's really important, and I do that, and I need to make an intentional practice of it. I've learned. And then the other thing is that, you know, secondarily, the overall effect I get from reading these stories, individual ones might be heavy, but the overall effect I get from taking them on board is that it's a healing process. Because it makes me feel less alone, you know? This year has been really, really wild for, I think, literally everybody. And I think that if this year hasn't been wild for you, if you think that actually this year hasn't been that wild for you, you're fooling yourself. And it's just going to come up later. And if that's what you need to do, honestly, that's fine, because some people just need to put stuff off and process it later. So no judgment.
Cope how you cope.
Yeah, do what you gotta do, you know, seriously. But it's a really heavy time that we're all living through together. And to get a chance to just sit with other people's experience, I'm sharing their burden, and I feel like they're sharing mine too. You know what I mean? By sort of telling bits of my story. When someone else tells part of your story, it's really powerful. And this is that for me. So I just I picked out just a few different examples of stories from this last topic, just because it's sort of fresh on my mind. And also, it's a pretty serious topic. The song's called One Thread, and it's about the experience of just barely hanging on. And you know, there's different ways that can manifest in your life. It can be emotional, it can be spiritual, it can be like financial. You know, there's so many ways over this last year in which so many of us have been brought to the brink, or maybe even pushed really far past what we thought our brink was. And you know, some people were really vulnerable and shared some stuff, and I just wanted to share a couple. And I'll read them in this order. So, the first one is from a new friend from San Francisco. Her name is Jessica K. And by the way, whenever people share stories, I ask them always if they want it attributed to their first name and last initial, or whether they'd rather it be posted anonymously. A lot of people prefer anonymously, especially for the more vulnerable stuff. So if you were thinking about submitting something, but you'd be more comfortable it not being attached to your name, that's totally an option. All three of these people did say that it was fine to use their first name and last initial, so this is from Jessica K. And you know, fair warning, this is a little bit heavy, but like, that's kind of the whole point in a time like this, I think, is that not shying away from the heavy stuff, but like really looking at it head on and really being frank with ourselves about it, and not trying to put up a wall, but just being open to it, really, I think, is what makes it better for me, you know? So Jessica wrote her reflection sort of like a poem, and I'll read it in that way. Incredible year of heartbreak, disappointment, sadness, resilience, survival, and perseverance. COVID. Pandemic hits. I work in medicine, on the front line. Son and husband at home. Husband with cancer, recurrence in March 2020. Started chemo. Canceled bar mitzvah, pivot to Zoom mitzvah in April. Excellent response to treatment. Perseverance. Strong new recurrence in winter. More chemo. Immune therapy. Hospice. Loss of my beloved 2 weeks ago. My son and I are here. Alive. Heartbroken. Remembering our David. No words. So many words. Never sure what to say.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Jessica.
Thank you for sharing that, Jessica. I get a little choked up every time I read that.
Yeah.
You know, the vulnerability in sharing something like that. I mean, she sent me this story like 3 days ago. Like, her husband died like less than 3 weeks ago. I actually knew her husband, which is why she friended me. And I didn't really put this together until after the fact. He and I both had a desk at this sort of collaborative artist workspace that I was a part of in San Francisco in the early 2000s. He's an architect. He was an architect. And he sat across from me to the left, 10 feet away from me for like 2 years, and he was lovely. Just the sweetest person. and you know, he was really kind to me and really supportive of me in my early sobriety, and I remember that still. And you know, it was a shock to learn that he's gone. But what a beautiful tribute, you know. I've got a couple more. This one is from Ellen M. Some people write longer ones. Some people write really just short little ones. This is the latter. Ellen says, "At my age, it is horrendous to feel I lost a year of living, traveling, and seeing family and friends." I don't know if any of you have heard that from your parents. I have heard that from my dad. Not really my mom as much. Like, I'm sure she's maybe felt it, but she's never verbalized it in that way. But my dad has a number of times over this last year just really been sitting with the idea, I think, that he's 76 years old, and losing a year at age 76 feels like a whole lot to him, you know? It's funny, like, in the early pandemic, I was like, man, I feel so bad for kids, because, like, when you're our age, when you're 48 or whatever, like, losing a year, it's like, whatever, it'll be like 47 and 49, it's not that big a deal.
Probably
but, like,
similarly hard for kids and older people.
Yes, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah. And the third thing I wanted to read was from Jerry J. Jeri, it's a woman. And she says, "I am humbled and grateful every day. Last year, April through September, without a paycheck or unemployment, living in a not great situation, brought me to the brink. It turned out to be a good thing. I began to walk, and as I walked, I would pray and meditate. I realized as I was walking how disassociated I was from my life and my body. I began to come back into my body as I walked, and I let go of so much trauma I had stored within my earth suit for decades and decades."
Wow. This is the healing stuff. This is amazing.
Right?
It's just, you know, especially in a year when we all, like, so many of us were sequestered in our houses and we didn't get to really spend a lot of time with other people besides the people we happen to live with. It really is a trick on your mind, and it makes you sort of like think that maybe you're the only one experiencing some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And these stories that people have shared, they really put medicine to my heart. Thank you, everybody who shared. We want to invite anyone who wants to be part of this project. The whole point of this is, like, think about it like a big group art project, right? Like, we're making the songs that were born out of story collection that we did with people in our communities, but we're continuing the story collection with 20202101.net, and we'd love for you to be part of it. The whole point is to make a record of what our human experience...
A document.
A document of what our human experience of the last year has been, and it will be more complete with your contributions. So send Jamie an email. You can go to 2020101.net and you can find the link to email him your story. Thank you for that.
Yeah, totally.
That was great.
And thank you all for listening. You know, in this time, it's really important to see each other. Like, really see each other. You know, everyone around you has been bearing a trauma. You know, some of them are dealing with it better than others. Like, some people are very clearly having a traumatic experience. Some people on the outside just present as they're just doing fine, but just know that they have stuff going on inside them too. Yeah. And they're maybe the people, like, who need to be reached out to more, because some people don't know any way to deal with trauma other than to shove it down inside and put out a good face to the world. You
didn't realize that you just made a great segue into our next song.
Oh, did I?
With your comments. So the next song for this concert today is a song called "Say Something," which is from the 2015 album called Connections that we put out.
A long time ago now.
2015, and it's really just about being on the phone with somebody who maybe needs a little help, and that's all I'll say about it for now. It's the same thing.
There's a non-zero chance I'll forget some of the chords in this song.
This is also one of the ones we've never performed live before.
Yeah, good song though.
Good times.
Cross your fingers, people. Here goes nothing.
We can do it. We can do it.
Over the
You're singing, and I'm reaching, and I can't make you reach back, can't make you reach back, but you're fading, and I'm waiting, still waiting for you to reach back, reach out for my hand, I will lift you up into arms of love. The more you try and fight, the more the tide will suck you under. Lay still, look toward the sky, and you will rise and float. The waves lose their power when you give up control. You're sinking, and I'm reaching, can't make you reach back, you're fading, and I'm waiting, still waiting for you to reach back, reach out for my hand, I will lift you up into arms of love. If you're ready to, I will be here for you. In the darkest time, with your last breath, call out. I will lift you up into arms of love. Hello, can you hear me? Say something. Nice harmony, dude.
The one time you go for a high five, I go for a grab. We have to have like a hand so like
We
it's a
do.
flat
I
hand,
know,
it's a
right?
five, and if it's like a clasp.
Hey, how about the harmonies on from Jamie Hill?
Oh my
over
gosh,
there?
it did harmonies.
It was
I don't think they
sexy.
were that bad.
They were sexy, is what they were.
Well, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm terribly insecure about singing, and so thank
Oh
you
my
for the
gosh.
positive feedback.
No, you did an amazing job.
Ah, stop it, Sonora.
Amazing job. We have a couple more songs for you, and as always, this is just so much fun. And thank you so much for spending time with us. I mentioned earlier that that all the songs we're playing were chosen by our Misfit Stars community. They voted with a ballot, and every month we do these concerts, we remove from the ballot songs we've already done in previous live concerts. So
hence the obscure
that's
songs.
where we're getting into these deep cuts, and they're so much fun. Now, if you recall, if you were with us last month for last month's live concert, you probably saw the crying incident where I uncontrollably cried in the middle of a song. That was fun.
Hey,
and
it was vulnerable. That's our
I know.
shit.
No, I know. I don't regret it at all.
Man, I almost made the whole thing without a swear.
I'm just. You keeping track?
Fuck that up.
Anyway, I'm poking fun at myself, but I cried last month at our during this live concert because we did a song that I wrote about missing my sister, who I haven't really had a relationship with for the last number of years, and I don't know why. And so we played a song. And I'm thinking that my Misfit Stars community just wants to see me cry again because they have voted another song, and I wrote about the same scenario. The song we did last month was Pretend, and it was on the 2016 album that we put out.
Creationism.
This song is called I'll Leave My Words For You, and so it's kind of I guess if you're kind of tracking the progression of sort of my grief through this process with this relationship in my life, you'll see the progression in this. There's this have you had the experience where you love somebody and you reach out to them to try to get in touch or talk or reconnect, and you know when you pick up the phone that they're not going to answer? This is what that song is about. And I don't think I have tears in me this month, but so joke's on you, Misfit Stars, for picking this song.
I want to say, if any of you are carrying grief around this kind of thing, first of all, just hit the care emoji, because I just want to see if anyone else can relate to this, because I think that more people probably have this experience than we know.
Yeah,
and also, if anyone needs to share about this, you can share in the comments,
us,
or you can message us too.
Yeah.
If you want support right now, real time in the community, you can share in the comments. Or if you need to message one of us to talk about it, you can do that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I am seeing some care emojis.
This is "I'll Leave My Words for You." When you look in the mirror, do you ever see me like I see you all the time? When you wake from dreaming, do you ever miss me like I miss you all the time? All the time. There's always a moment when I've picked up the phone to dial your number, voice broken, and my breathing's put on hold. I know how this plays out. Hear a distant tone, and I'll leave my words for you. When you watch your children, do you ever see us like we were once? And another time, when you cry for what was, do you ever miss the understanding, born of sharing storylines like I do all the time? There's always a moment when I question the sense, and dialing your number, heart open and braced for the worst. I call though it hurts. What else is left to lose? And I'll leave my words for you. I'll leave my words for you. When you look in the mirror, do you ever see me like I see you? Thank you.
Thank you. Mash some hearts for Shannon, people, will ya? Mwah.
I love my sister.
Thank you for sharing this time with us, everyone.
Yeah.
So, we made it almost the whole way through this without a commercial break, but I'll do one now. Because honestly, I feel like if you stuck with us for the last hour, whatever, you'll probably listen to me for like 2 minutes here. Here's the deal. This concert is brought to you by Misfit Stars. So what does that mean? Misfit Stars is our support community. Okay, support community. What does that mean? What it means is that over the last year, there has come around Shannon and me this community of people who believe in what we do in the world and who want to support it in kind of a non-transactional, sort of open-handed kind of way. And the way they're doing that is with small dollar recurring monthly contributions. And you know, there's different ways to support art, right? Like you can get, like, if you have a museum, you can get like a benefactor, right? Like you can have Elliot Broad give $1 billion donation and make the Broad Museum. That's one way to do it.
That is, yeah.
We don't know any billionaires. And so the way we're doing it instead, in the way that we do every other thing in our lives, we're doing a crowdsourced kind of thing. So instead of reaching out to one person being like, hey, will you give us $1 billion? First of all, how much art could we make with $1 billion? Oh my gosh.
A lot.
Side note. We're reaching out to our entire community of people and saying, hey, would you be part of helping support the work that we do in an ongoing way? And what that looks like really simply is people generally give 10, sometimes 5, sometimes $20 a month. It's a recurring thing. It just comes out on whatever day you sign up. So if you sign up on the 23rd, it comes out every month on the 23rd. It's easy. You go to misfitstars.com/join. If you would like to support the work that we do, we would sure appreciate it. We could use it, frankly. We're artists. We're never enough support for artists. We are living that. Our life is always a little bit sketchy. We're going to be all right.
This will be an ongoing sort of, just like if you watch PBS or listen to NPR, you know, it's an ongoing call for support. This will be part of our lives going forward. And it's really magical, actually, because what we experience when we receive people's monthly subscriptions, monthly support, is it is just like a little vote of confidence. Every time we get one of those that come in, saying, yes, I believe in what you're doing, I value it, I want to see more of it in the world, and here I am putting in my lot with you to continue doing it. And the things that we're doing in the world include this 2020 101 project. That is one of the big things this year that our community is supporting.
We're able to release it in real time for free for everyone to have because the community is paid for it.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. These live concerts once a month is supported by our Misfit Stars community. The podcast that Jamie and I do weekly called Misfit Stars is supported by our Misfit Stars community. We do, especially Jamie, does a boatload of mentoring young artists, older artists who are developing their skills. He does so much work mentoring people with audio engineering and producing. Even remotely, this last year, that whole aspect of his life has exploded.
I have 5 different people right now, various aspects of engineering and production. In a long-term, I mean over like 9 months at this point, almost all of them, sustained kind of way. And getting really deep and like really like teaching them how to be better engineers, to empower them with tools that they can use for the rest of their lives to make their own records.
And this is something that Jamie does professionally, that he'll do for pay, for work. But because of the support our community gives us, he's able to extend that service to a lot of people for free if they can't afford to pay or for discounted rates. So our supportive community is supporting lots of things. And if what we're doing with all of those different manifestations is something that's important to you and that you value, we would love to have you in our community. You go to misfitstars.com/join and you can sign up. When you do that, we will also invite you into our private, what do you call it?
It's called Social Network.
It's our private social network.
So people, we kind of buried the lead on this one. This is honestly, if we had just started this pitch by saying, we have started our own social network and you should be in there, it probably would be like way more successful. Maybe. So you know how some of you are watching this on Facebook, and that's a social network? We have started our own social network simply because we learned over time that Facebook's interests and our interests are not always perfectly aligned. We used to have a private Facebook group for our Misfit Stars community, but like there was this uncomfortable tension in there, talking about vulnerable, meaningful stuff on a platform that is harvesting that to sell us advertising. It's not very cool. We started our own social network. It acts a lot like Facebook, it's just a lot more attractive, and there's no advertising, there's no data harvesting, it's just people in community with each other, and like the tone we're setting in there is one of kindness and authenticity and vulnerability, being willing to make mistakes, being willing to learn to be a better person. I am learning from people in there all of the time. Yeah. It's amazing.
One of the things that's growing out of the last couple of weeks, I put the question to the group, who in the group would be interested in doing an anti-racist book club with me and others in the group. And a ton of people responded, so we're going to be starting that soon. So we're doing stuff to just hopefully help encourage each other, as all of us in the group are learning how to become better versions of ourselves. That's the whole point of that community, and so we'd love to have you join us.
If you'd like to join us in our private social network, you can go to misfitstars.com/join, sign up at the level that works for you. You will be supporting our work and getting something amazing for yourself at the same time.
Yes. We have one final song, and so very quick final thank yous before we play it. Thank you, of course, to our Misfit Stars. We love you so much, and we are so grateful for your presence in our lives. Thank you to science, because as of tomorrow, Jamie and I are going to have full immunity. We will be 2 weeks past our second vaccination shot, and I'm going to be walking across the street and giving our neighbors a hug. That is how I'm going to celebrate tomorrow.
Yeah!
It's going to
Look
be
at Cindy and Derek and Liv. We are coming for you.
Thank you also to all of you who spent time with us this evening. We're so glad that you were here and just grateful that you wanted to share some of your time with us. It means the world to us, so thank you.
We're going to be cranking at work to finish Song 8 from 2020-101. It's coming out on Tuesday. And because we had the acoustic concert today, we're sort of, most of a day behind on that. That's okay. It's totally worthwhile. Love you guys so much. Happy to be here. My point in saying this is, if we're slow in responding to the comments that you're leaving,
that's why.
Yeah. Don't take it personally. Love you so much.
We're just really busy.
Also, I know that people know that I always wear some kind of LGBTQ-friendly clothing when I do the acoustic concert. Yes. I want to make a point of pointing out that I am doing that right now. It's just that it's in small print. It's hard to tell. You can maybe see the equals, right? Read it. Well, it goes as far as refugees.
It says, women's rights, our men's rights, our trans rights, our disability rights, our gay rights, our workers' rights, our religious rights, our civil rights, our refugee rights. They're all the same rights.
It's all the same thing, people.
We all get those rights.
We all have the same rights. That's it.
Let's uphold them all for all of us. I love that. This is the last song of our set. It's from the 2017 album called Space Between. This song, it's a lament / prayer, maybe?
Yeah, that feels right.
From what was a very dark time. I experienced that year as a pretty dark time. And I feel like in some ways, not in all the ways, but in some of the ways, the promise at the end of this prayer / lament is starting to be realized in some ways. And I'm grateful for that. But here it is. It's at morning. Enjoy. Night has fallen here, we who are awake in the darkness feel for a hand to take, like an anchor in rough seas we are holding, for the tide to turn at morning. While it's night we dream, speaking them out loud against the waking fear, raining whistles down, circled round the fire we like an anchor in rough seas. We are hoping for the tide to turn at morning. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us, you all.
I hope that you, when you sleep tonight, dream big dreams.
Yeah, and you know, if we've brought up anything during this broadcast that you want to talk about, message us. We would love to have your stories for the 2020-101 Story Archive. So go there. Go to 2020101.net. Just spend a little time. Maybe sit with other people's stories, see if it brings anything up for you. And if it does, maybe you'd want to share that with us.
Thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you again very soon. Take good care of yourselves and be good to each other.
Love you guys.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. And a special goodbye for you too.